Okay, so we today are continuing to talk about whether something is a function or a relation. Go ahead and throw your name on your note sheet. A relation is a relationship between two variables. So everything that we have that involves x's and y's is a relationship. We can show those relationships in three different ways. We can put it all on a graph, we can put it in a table, which is at the bottom of this front side of the page, or we can list out a bunch of ordered pairs. So in our table, we know the left column is x's, the right column is y's. And then in an ordered pair, we always know that x comes first and then y. A relationship is a function only if every input has exactly one output. Another way to say that, in other words, each x has one y. Okay, so we talked about like a vending machine last week. I think I talked about it in all my classes. I'm not 100% sure. But with a vending machine, when I push a button, there should only be one possible thing that I get out. So when I push the Cherry Coke button, I should get out a Cherry Coke. So it's kind of like when I plug in X, there should only be one thing I get out. So tomorrow, we are only evaluating functions, because when I plug in an X value, I should only be able to get out a Y value, or one Y value. How we are going to check for if something is a function or a relation is we will check for repeated x values. Brielle, you are, let me look, the second seat there. Yep. So we will check for repeated x values. So repeated x values are relations, is how I remember it. Repeat, relate. All right, so going down to look at our tables. Everyone have that? Going down to look at our tables, we are going to look through our x values. So we have 3 goes to 5, -1 goes to 0, 0 goes to 1, 2 goes to 2, and then 3 goes to 3. I repeat this 3 right here. That is a problem. Because when I say x equals 3, I don't know whether y is supposed to equal 5 or y is supposed to equal 3. So that is a relation. Okay, my next one, I go through my x values, -4, -2, 1, 2, and 5. Do any of my x values repeat? No. So that is a function. And then my last one, I've got -5, -3, 0, 1, 2. Do any of those repeat? No, that is also a function. Okay, you guys might notice that there are some repeated y values. That is okay. Having a repeated y value doesn't make it so that it's not a function. A repeated y value is okay. That would be like having 2 buttons on the vending machine that both say Dr. Pepper. So the 2 different buttons both go to Dr. Pepper. That's fine. You can have a repeated y value. You just can't have repeated x values. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Grab that, and then you're right in front of Brielle there. Okay, flip this over. The next thing that we're going to look at is graphs. And graphs are the ones you already know how to do. So let's review that. We did this on Friday. We use the vertical line test to determine if a graph is a function or a relation. So we use the vertical line test. Okay. If it crosses only once, then the graph is a function. If it crosses twice or more, so I'm going to put twice plus, because it could cross 3, 4, 5, 12 times. Pretty crazy graph if it's going to cross 12 times. Then it is a relation. Okay, so going down to look at our graphs. How many times does this guy cross? Twice. So that is a relation. Repeated x values, because every x value, every vertical line represents one x value. It's like an x equals equation. Okay, my next one. How many times does this line cross? What about here and here and here and here and here? Still once. Yep, so you got to check all the way, because sometimes it'll cross twice in one spot, but only once in others. If it crosses twice one spot, then it's not a function. So this one is a function, though. So each spot it only crosses once. Okay, very last one. Is it a function or a relation? Function. If I draw a vertical line, it only crosses once, and once, and once, and once, and once. It is a function. I agree. Okay. The last section is sets of ordered pairs. So for a set of ordered pairs, it's the exact same thing as like the tables, but instead of being vertical, it's horizontal. I will take that. Thank you. You are the second seat here. Okay, so we are looking specifically at x values. If you need to, right here, write x comma y. So you remember in an ordered pair, x comes first. And then we are looking at x values. So I'm going to read through my x values. 5, 3, 2, 0, negative 1. Did I repeat any x values? Nope, so that's a function. All right, next one. Negative 2, 0, 2, 3, 2. Did I repeat any x values? Yes, I repeated the 2. So that one is a relation. Okay, and then the very last one. Negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, positive 1, and then negative 3 again. I repeated that negative 3. Repeat means relate. This is a relation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video.